down. Yeah. You be ready. You stay for a little bit. Yeah. Okay.
I remember way back when you and I were just pretend. I thought I was in love. There was nothing above. I remember I felt it. Thought this would never end. I felt like giving up. My mind was blowing up. Let's talk about you and me. Thought I was free. You told me you loved me. You gave up on me. Little did I know, I thought you loved me. Oh no. Let's talk about you and me. Thought I was free. You told me you loved me. You gave up on me. Little did I know, I thought you loved me. Oh no. Let's talk about us. Let's talk about trust. Let's talk about you and me. Baby, you and me. Let's talk about us. Let's talk about trust. Let's talk about you and me. Baby, you and me.
Hi there. Welcome to the Hear Her Hands Knitting podcast. My name is Jennifer, and here on my podcast, I talk about all the things I'm knitting, how they're going, a little bit of sewing, a little bit of a crochet. The crochet will be at the end of the knitting section, and the sewing will be at the very end for those who are not interested. So, first off, I am a half-disabled knitter based in Baltimore, Maryland. Here I live with my partner and 2 miniature schnauzers and 2 black cats. No, you're still on the floor? Okay. So one of my veggies is here to supervise for now, I guess. And also I wanted to be upfront, and I will preface by saying kind of a review of all the things on my needles that are sort of stalling or lagging, that have been on my needles either for a while or are currently on my needles and are going to get a little bit of a break. So earlier this week I did a video and I was planning on doing like a little vlog and talking about how I knit every day. And for some reason, it's just not a format that I can commit to. But I will put that first little clip in so that you get an idea of what that was going to be like. We'll see how that goes. That's also really helpful because I put progress keepers in my project. And hey, hi, can you sit down, please? What noisy, mister? Can you sit down? Yeah, can you sit down? Sit, sit. Okay, so that I put progress keepers in, I think, all of my projects for that one, where I talked a little about what I was working on, and then I put progress keepers so you could get an idea of how much I do per day or per update. So once I share that, what I'll be doing now is mostly updating what I have completed since I did that, which was on Monday or Wednesday, I believe. You gonna sit? You sit down? You're gonna sit down. Come here. Yeah, you're noisy. Come here. Hi. Oh boy. This is gonna be interesting. We'll see how well this works, because sweater and crochet. Don't claw that, please. Sit down. Sit down. Alright. So, sit down. Sit. Sit. Thank you. Sit. Why must you claw? Sit. Sit. Sit or go sit on the bed, please. Sit. Thank you. Alright, we'll see how long this lasts. So start with that little clip. I'll put it in, and then we'll come back and I will talk about what I have so far, as far as like works in progress and finished objects and everything else. Running. So I decided that I would do a little bit more of a vlog style knit, I don't know, knit review and spend this week, or I guess the end of this week and this weekend, talking about how much I knit each day and like how each day is going. So start off with talking about how many too many projects I currently have on the needle and how much work I need to do on each of those. So first off, this is an old WIP that was sort of put on the back burner last fall. And got, I don't remember why I put it on the back burner. But so this was put on the back burner last fall, but I call this my avocado polo, and it is the Play Polo by Engles. So I am knitting this. Oops. In there we go. In basically avocado green or lime green and brown, and that was entirely unintentional. But I was really enjoying this green. This avocado green was very much what was it? It was like the color of the summer last year. It was brat green this summer. So I started knitting this for my partner. Originally I was part of the test knit, and I believe also part of why it got put on the back burner last year's was the same time as the last couple years. I got sick and just couldn't do anything in a timely fashion. So this is just me already. But my partner is a large man. He is 6'6". So in this, it's great. It's like good so far. It's just currently I'm working on the aisles of length to make sure this is long enough for him so that it'll go down to over his pants at least. So I've got, let's see, currently 13 or 14 inches on the body, and I need to knit to 19. So I'm working on that. I do not know if I can make it all the way to 19 inches this week, but that is what I'm working on. This is my main focus for today. Oh, and also, today is Wednesday, June 11th. So that's this. I am knitting this in Yarn Art Jeans, which is a cotton and acrylic blend. Mostly because we like went and felt different yarns, the right weight of yarn, and also it's soft enough and cool enough that it works well for what we need it for. So it's my first project, and I have 6. So I'm going to just show you all the rest of them, and then I will check in at the end of the day and tell you how much I got done. And actually, you know what I'm going to do when I do this? I'm going to go ahead and put stitch markers on these so that we have a little, I don't know, place to start. So I guess we'll start rainbow. We're going to start with red. So I'm going to put a red stitch marker for everything I talk about today, and then each day I will show you how much I knit, or which ones I've worked on. So this one, put it right here. So it doesn't interrupt me too much with what I'm working on. Okay, so that's one. Oh no. Well, okay, so project 2. I'm sort of going by oldest, except this is a separate category because it's crochet. So project 2 is I am working on my second version of the Palm Springs cake by Knit California. And this one I am knitting the size small. Mostly because I'm hoping that a little bit more width will make it fit better in the bust area. I am definitely an extra small, at least to like here. So we'll see how this works out. And if this doesn't work out, I will try something else. But I couldn't figure out how to put bust shaping into my rainbow fade. So I am working on this one. This is my Pride tank, which is not finished and will not get worn this year, but that's okay. So I am doing a rainbow fade with this Pearlescent Tonal by Knitpicks, and if I can find it, oh, I can't, here it is. My Stained Glass Rainbow by Republic of Yarnia, which I really love their yarn. I already have another project in their yarn as well. So this is one I am going to also put my little stitch marker, my red stitch marker in there. Put it on the back so it doesn't mess up my rounds, I guess. Right. So this is my marker for today for my Pride tank, which is my Palm Springs tank by Knit California. A lot of clothing. Alright, so my next WIP is my, these two, the next two are like about the same age. I don't remember when exactly I started this. I guess I started this when I joined Nitty Natty and Love and Stitches. So this is the Love and Stitches is doing a summer t-shirt knit along, and they're knitting t-shirts and tank tops by Tori. So this is my Raglan, and I'm doing the t-shirt version by Tori, and I am knitting this in also Republic of Yarnia. This is Soliloquy, I believe, and this is a really pretty sparkly. Can you not please? Hi, no. Sparkly blue and pink. I mean, it reminds me of Trans Pride colors, but which is why I'm knitting it in June. I think it's a fitting color combo for this month, and it's working up really pretty. I especially love the pattern on the sleeves. So that is my Raglan Lite, which I am knitting in the extra small, and the pattern is by Tori. And then I am knitting this itty bitty one. Ah! So we were talking about socks, and I kind of got, I don't know, motivated the word? Motivated to work on some socks after I've only done 1.5 pairs so far. So these are my socks, which I also, this is a whole bunch of new skills here. They are 2 at a time, they're toe up, and also they are patterned. They are like textured. So these are a keyboard and ribbed pattern, which I am knitting. These are the Hibernal socks by Summer Lee, and I am basically knitting them backwards, which is making it a lot more complicated than it probably needs to be, but I really wanted that pattern, and I really wanted to do toe up, so I'm making it work. But I think they're turning out really, really cute. 2 things. I have very small feet, so I am knitting these in. I have done the youth size for the cast on, which is like 54 stitches, I believe, and then I increased to 64 because 64. I don't know. I increased to the smallest size of the pattern for these socks because I could not figure out how to make the numbers work for the smaller sock. But it seems to be working okay because my yarn is really dense. So these are a find from before Joann's closed. One of my friends and I did a final walkthrough, and I got these patent Kroy sock in the color Dusty Plum. So I split my skein of that, and I'm doing 2 at a time. And I don't know, should I put, yeah, I'll put stitch marker in my socks. You not, cat. Okay, there's a stitch marker in the socks. We will check back. My goal for the socks is I try to do at least 1 cable repeat every day, and I'm aiming for an 8-inch long foot. So I'm at about 4 inches, so I've got a ways to go. And then the other one, this is just a, like, if I need something. This is just if I need like something to work on quickly, or it doesn't require a lot of thought, but also I'm trying to work on this at least a little every day or 2. So I am knitting the Dragon Lady shawl, which, excuse the mess, tangled. I have these on a longer cord, but they're still pretty long, and it kind of looks like much right now, but I think it's pretty. The shawl is very angular, and it has these garter bump ridges and also a ridge down the middle of each, I don't know, wing maybe. And I'm knitting this in an acrylic, so this is Sodar Jewel Spine maybe, in the color I believe this is Aurora or something like that. But I think this will be really pretty. And aside from the brown, all of these colors are very much in my color house, so I think it'll be pretty. And also the brown kind of grounds it enough to make it more dragon-like. So add us a little stitch markers on this end. And finally, I'm not going to pull this out right now, but so my other big WIP is not knitting, it's this. So I am crocheting a summer-fade hexy blanket, but I am doing my joining progress, but in the same, what is the pattern? I'm doing my joining for this like the join that Nautical Crochet used for her terracotta coastline hexy blanket instead, which is this sort of like braided join down the middle, which I could not figure out her join as you go progress. I could not figure out how to make the join as you go work. So this is what I figured out instead. It's not working out the same as I originally wanted, like as far as the layout, but I'm really liking the way it looks, and it's cozy, and it's also very like, it is sort of a, what's it called? Like a memory blanket of all of our favorite national parks, because I specifically used Lion Brand's National Park Heartland yarn. So like this one is, I believe this is Grand Canyon. This is White Sands. This one is Petrified Forest, which is one of our favorites. And then the dark green that you see up here is Rocky Mountain. So that is my 6th project. So those are the things I'm working on for the majority of this week. But today, Wednesday, my main WIP for the most part is going to be my avocado polo. I'm really looking forward to the day when I can do all the other fun stuff on this polo and not just be knitting like back and forth on the body. I'm excited to add sleeves and the collar and the button band, but for right now, I have a lot of knitting to do to get this long enough. Oh, where did it go? Oh no, it went down there. Okay, well, alright, I guess what I'm gonna do is go fish my yarn ball back out from behind the sofa. And I will check back with you later on, maybe tonight, and we'll see how our work went. You want to sit up here? You want to sit up here? Is that what you want? No? Okay. Alright, we'll see how this goes. Okay. Okay. Hi. Yeah. So, first off, let's talk about my finished object. I have 2, and I finished them around about the same time, like literally within a day of each other, but I had them on the needles for different lengths of time because they were in different ages and yarns and all that. So my first one is going to be coming out soon, but it's Anacortes sweater by Ishi Knit. So this is Anacortes. It is on my dress form. The weather just keeps not cooperating, so I will put in pictures of me wearing it as soon as the episode day I can, I guess. Hey, bud, sit. I washed that rug. What are you doing? Sit. Hey, down. Down. Nuh-uh, down. Sit down, please. Hey, hey. No. Dude, I washed the rug. It shouldn't be stinky anymore. Sit. All the way down. Alright. Okay, so the Anacortes sweater test knit is this. And I think it turned out really beautiful. I did hang it to dry at the end because it just wasn't getting the fabric I wanted personally at the end. I wanted it a little more drapey. I think this is my fault for using a cotton linen blend, but I highly, highly recommend the pattern. Any issues that I have with my long sleeve tees are issues with me, not issues with the pattern. So I knit the Anacortes, I knit the size 2, and I knitted it on a US 6 or a 4mm needle, and the gauge was 22 stitches and 34 rows, which is the gauge that we were asked to get. I used stash yarn, so this is Knitpicks CotLin in the color Surf. I had a lot of this that I found from a test knit I did last year that did not end up doing the way I wanted it to fit. So I think this is a beautiful project for it. I think this is like AKA Nora Knit talked about having a summer sweater, and I feel like this is very much that kind of summer sweater. It's an interesting texture. It's a good like cotton mix yarn. It's just weighty enough that when you put it over a tank top or a swimsuit, it's warming, but not so warming that you get overheated, which is what happens a lot with my ombre. And for this, I used 8 balls of yarn, or 400 grams total, and this was on my needles for exactly 51 days. And my next completely finished object is this one, which is my Blue Ridge and Valley Ombre Cardigan, which is kind of a mashup name of the Ombre Cardigan, which is what the pattern is, and Blue Ridge and Valley yarn, which is what the yarn is. So this pattern. So this finished object is my Blue Ridge Ombre Cardi, which I knit the Ombre Cardigan by Tannis Fiber Arts in Blue Ridge and Valley by Neighborhood Fiber Co. in their studio sock. And then I held it together with Setasuri by Lana Grossa in the color Nougat. So this one I knit the size 34, and I knitted on a US 8 or 5mm needle. The gauge was 23 stitches and 32 rows, and I used 1,928 yarns of total between the two yarns. So I used about 4 skeins of Setasuri, which I wouldn't have if I didn't have a peppy tag, and I put a little picture of the culprit in here. But I'm not of the culprit of what it looked like. Somebody got a hold of my yarn, and he thought it was fun to like chomp on it, and since Suri does that, I don't know, like the sticking thing, basically turned into a giant wet stuck together knot, and I could not for the life of me fix it. So I cut the last all that I needed, and I put the ball away to deal with later, because and worst comes to worst, I don't know what I will do. Maybe I'll ask a friend to help me with that one. Okay, but this yarn, part of why I wanted to knit this pattern for this cardigan was I bought the Neighborhood Fiber Co. yarn specifically to support their fundraising effort after the hurricanes in North Carolina, and I really love the colorway, it's not quite my color, so I held it with the sort of mushroomy brown Suri to soften the color and make it a more dusty cool tone that sort of goes with my, I can open the door, with my soft summer color palette. So this sweater I started knitting as soon as I got back from Houston in January, and I knit it from January 26th to May 25th, which was a total of 118 days. Now, I have several works in progress. Oh, now on to works in progress. So first I have a very, very old work in progress. I think it was hard. Work in progress that was resurrected from hibernation. So I think I might have talked about it in the last podcast. So I have my Cherry Polo, which was originally a test knit for Engles, and I was knitting it then also for my partner, who is a fairly large man because he's 6'6". So I am knitting this one in yarn art jeans in the color lime and brown, which is why it looks like an avocado green brown. Why I've been calling it my avocado polo. So first of all, with this, I'm knitting the size large, 42 inches across, and I'm knitting it much longer. So I'm knitting it 19 inches from the underarm to fit his length. And I am using a US 7 or 4.5 millimeter needle. And so far I have used 4 balls, almost 4 balls of lime, and 3 balls of the brown, because I've been splitting them as I go. So it will mostly be in lime. But this is what I have so far. Also have a little itty bitty progress keeper right here. So that's like 2 inches since I did my video that I showed you from earlier this week. So I've done 3 inches in 3 days, which is not bad. And I have about 4 more inches to go on the body before I can start doing the interesting stuff. But like I said, I'm about to go out of town, so I probably won't finish this before I go, although I wish I could. I am mostly hyper-focusing on this because my aim is to finish the body before I go. But again, it's like really wide in addition to being very long. Mostly because the thing for me is like the back and forth knitting is, if it was in the round, I think maybe it would not feel so long. But it feels really long. So I am working on this, and I'm hoping to at least be done with the body before I leave. But yeah, I have my last little bit of brown, and just added this ball of green recently too, so it kind of feels like I'm going through my green really fast. But anyway, I started knitting this test in May of 2024, and that was also the last time I was hospitalized, so I ended up having to drop out of the test knit, which was rough. Anyway, I worked on this on and off all through the summer, and then once the winter came, I kind of put it on the back burner because I was tired of it, and I thought maybe I would finish it. But now we're in the home stretch, and we're almost to like all the interesting parts. I mean, if all goes well, I might finish this summer, and thanks be to God, because I'm just a tad bit worried about the sweater curse. Although this is not a sweater. This is how I'm rationalizing it. This is not a sweater, it's a polo. Alright. So, also, yes, that one was on the needles, including hibernation, for 385 days. So, did I forget that one? Okay. So I'm just going to talk about this one because I forgot to bring the project out of my bag. Anyway, next is my Sophie head by Petite, which is what I call my hospital and breathing room knitting project. This one gets very random work periodically, and I'm really bad at documenting it for some reason. I have literally no photos of it in my photo roll at all. So I started knitting this hood in February because the weather kept going back and forth from like really, really cold to warmish, and I was trying to find some sort of hat that I could knit that would actually fit my head because I was judging. And especially when it involves hand sewing, hats end up like too tight, but my head circumference is like a youth size, which is really awkward. So I thought maybe knitting a hood would solve my problem because I can adjust it however I want, right? So that hood I started knitting in Alpaca warehouse Pullu in the color Denim or something, and it is on. It's just kind of in my bag because I got stuck waiting. Then it's been on the needle for 124 days, which is like a long time, but it is only waiting room knitting, and so I guess that's kind of a good thing. All right, so my next interesting project is my second version of my Palm Springs tank by Knit California, which I am knitting in Knitpicks, Stroll, and Republic of Yarnia, rainbow stained glass or something like that. So this is my tank, and I've made some progress on it, but not a ton. And I have made no progress on it at all since I put the marker in on Wednesday. But it's still really good, like, if I need to be knitting while talking to people or being talked at, it helps having something that's not super complicated. But I'm doing a fade, so the fact that I'm doing a fade makes it just interesting enough, but not so complicated that I can't do it myself. This is this yarn. I don't know if I can get close enough, but this is really fun. It's fun. It's like a neon rainbow. Super interesting. And then this is a good, I asked Kim from Creative Colorful about colors specifically, and got between Kim and Lindsay, I got really good advice on a like white-ish yarn. So this is my Stroll, and it is called Pearlescent Tonal, which is a really good like soft white with a gray tint, which makes it a good soft summer color. So this tank, I am knitting the second side. I half knit the first side, and I am knitting it on a US 3.5 or 4mm needle. I started knitting this one on April 27th, which means it has only been on the needles for 49 days. And if I was focusing on any given project, it probably would be a lot closer to done. But I'm doing like 6 or 7 things right now. So that is my Knit California Palm Springs tank. And next, I decided randomly, after I've only ever knit 2.5 socks like total, I decided I wanted to knit some socks, which is interesting of me. And cast these on. I think what happened was I had joined Knitting Natty's 11 Stitches membership. And when I did that, like, they were at the point of starting to talk about sock week in August, and I was like, maybe I should get another pair of socks just to like prepare. So I cast these on. Also, I really lucked out because I got this yarn right before I got sick in April, which was also about a month before Joann's closed. So I got this. This is Patons Kroy North American sock, I believe, in Dusty Plum, which is very much my color. I feel it might be a little rough. I don't know if I will actually like wearing this because I've never worn like a really woolly wool sock, but we'll see. So I am knitting. So what I am doing is a bit of a mashup sock project. So I started out using Summer Lee's book, the sock project, to cast on her toe up pattern in that book, and I cast on this adult small, which was 56 stitches. And also I used, I believe, Very Pink Knits tutorial for cast on or 2 at a time toe up socks because I wanted to try doing 2 at a time toe up. The other thing I really struggle with is finishing 2 socks because I've only done 3, right? So I was like, okay, maybe 2 at a time will work for me. So I have 2 at a time toe up socks, and this part is a 56 stitch, and I had to increase because I wanted to do her Hibernal sock pattern. And the smallest on that one was a 60. There was 64 stitches, so I increased. So these are 64 stitch socks, but my knitting gauge is really tight, so I think actually it won't matter that much. And also, like, the ribbing and stuff is very stretchy. So yeah, I am about just over halfway for the foot because a small, like, top level youth size foot is about 7 inches. So I have like 4.5. So those are my socks. They are knit on a US 1 or a 2 something 25 millimeter, I believe, needle, and they are progress. And I'm trying to knit one like pattern repeat, so like a repeat of the cable pattern every day. It's such a small repeat. It's like 4 rows, and that seems to be a good pace for me, and that I'm still interested in it, and I'm not like completely burned out. So that is my sock project before the sock project. And I will talk about this, which is my oh no, don't do that, Jen. Don't stick up for you. Okay. That is my knitting travel pouch. I don't know. So I am planning to travel, and I was like, I need a good pouch to take my sock project in. So I sewed one yesterday. I'll talk about this at the end. And then my next project is also with Knitting Natty. So along with the 11 Stitches membership. So we did a cast on party. I think it was May 27th. I might be wrong. Everyone in the 11 Stitches membership is knitting a Tori tee or tank, so like summer top for her. I think for flock. I won't be going to flock. I really appreciated the information from various people who were at flock that it was not super accessible for people who are high risk. So I just doesn't feel worth the risk to me. I feel like Maryland sheep and wolf is close, and like at the fairgrounds, which is more outdoorsy, feels lower risk personally. And also, I have local friends who are more interested in that, so I had planned on doing that. And I got sick. Anyway, so I won't be going to flock, but I will be getting a shirt for flock. But mostly because I'm knitting along with my friends. So that has been really fun. So I cast on this project along with 11 Stitches gals, mostly gals, and both. And this one is okay. So a couple of things. First of all, I had the same problem with this. I have not figured out a good cast on, provisional cast on that doesn't use the crochet chain thing. So I had to use the crochet chain. I tried and tried. I think I tried 6 times, 6 different ways, and I could not, for the life of me, make it work. I'm just not capable, but I can crochet. So I decided for this membership knit along thing, I was going to knit the Brooklyn Raglan Lite by Tori. First because I really enjoy a good raglan, and second because I really like the patterning on the sleeves on this. They're a really interesting pattern. So I knit the Brooklyn Raglan Lite, and I also did another thing. So like people were in the Love and Stitches membership were trying to use stash yarn. So I picked the stash yarn that I had 2 skeins of in my stash from last summer. And this is also from Republic of Yarnia. This is their merino fingering sock in Symphony, I believe, which was a colorway after a picture from it was like of the galaxy or something. I don't entirely remember, so long ago, but I thought this was a great jean yarn because it's navy, light blue, and pink, and it's and sparkly. It's like a perfect pride yarn. So this one I am knitting in a size 1 on a US 6, which is a 4mm needle, and I started knitting this on May 27th, which means it has been on the needles for 19 days. And that rattling is my beginning of round, which I'm going to share because one of my friends bought me so cute little progress. No, they're not progress keepers. I think they're stitch markers, but they got me stitch markers. Isn't that cute? They are from, what's the name that I have thoroughly blanked. They were so cute. She bought me a set of 4 little mini schnauzers, just like my little bride. And I'm definitely taking 1 or 2 with me when I go on my trip. But yeah, he's my little beginning of round. And I added a stitch marker for my, did I? No, I did not. Oops. Well, so much for that. If not. Yeah, so I'm knitting this. I've knitted this for 19 days. I'm going to put this away. Let's see. What else? Oh, yeah. Alright, so my other project, my only crochet project, is my summer fade hexie blanket. Right, we'll talk a little bit about this. I have a picture. I have a video. I will put in my video where I'm holding it up without the sound. But this pretty thing, I really like it. I'm very pleased with it. I feel like I have so far to go. But anyway, I am knitting. I'm crocheting. And I will make this mistake a lot. So please ignore me. I'm crocheting the Summer Fade Hexy Blanket in Lion Brand Heartland yarn. I started crocheting this in October of last year, and I just started with crocheting the hexy, so I made lots and lots and lots of hexy in different yarns. I am using 8 of their National Park colorways, and after just a lot of making hexy, when I was dealing with a senior dog in failing health, which I talked a little bit about last time, I had to take care of him in such a way the last month of his life that like I couldn't leave him at all. He would follow me or he'd get really anxious and upset. And also he had to go out a lot, he had to drink a lot, he had a lot of like health stuff going on that was really difficult to deal with. So it meant that I couldn't do any knitting where I could not immediately put it down, which was most of my knitting. Unfortunately, the way my brain works, I don't do very well with figuring out where I was unless I'm always at the same spot when I put it down. For some reason, crochet doesn't work like that for me. So I started joining my hexagons, and I tried the join as you go that is in the pattern, and I couldn't get it to work for me the way I had them set up to go. So I looked at her blog with all of her other blanket patterns, and I chose this joining that is from the coastal blanket, coastal blues. I don't know, coastal blues. There's another blanket that has this sort of joining pattern, and I decided to use that because it made sense to me, and it was very easy for me to like put down really quickly when I needed to. So this one, I have 10 hexagons widthwise, and I have 5 lengthwise, I think. So I am aiming to make it at least five more long before I start doing the single color length, because the end of this particular blanket is like a whole bunch of just white sections, which I am going to do in this gray that I'm using to join everything to kind of make it all seem like it goes together. So I'm working this on an 8mm hook or an L because I have a very, very tight gauge, and I believe this is a worsted weight. And yes, I am currently knitting it on 8 different colors of Heartland yarn in their National Park colorways that are specific to our own National Park trips of the past that we've done. And also, the joining yarn is also Lion Brand. It's Lion Brand Pound of 11 color in a light gray. I think it's called Sophie, but I may be wrong. That is what I've got so far. That is my crochet project. I love it. I would leave it here, but the cat would absolutely destroy it. So it's going to get picked up and put somewhere he cannot get his claws in it. And now, what I meant to talk about was specifically I am traveling for reasons. I don't know. I'm doing an emergency trip, but by emergency trip means I have never traveled with. I've traveled with my knitting, to be clear. But it was a sweater on much bigger needles, and I'm not sure why I was worried about that, but that was fine. So I traveled with my Salty Day sweater at the beginning of the year, and I think my main concern here is I've never traveled with metal needles, specifically really small metal needles, and I'm planning on bringing my socks which is why I was talking about this. So these are on a metal needle. Metal needle is actually from Michaels, because I was originally working socks on wood needles and I broke them. So I figured metal won't break as easily. I don't know. That's what I've got. So that's my first thing. I'm a little concerned about this. If you have ever flown with your sock knitting, I would love to share about that and how that went for you and any stories we have about PSA or otherwise. And then the other project I have that I'm taking with me, well, no, the other yarn I have that I'm taking with me for a project is this. This is a skein. This is Lana Grossa Merino, what's it called? Hold on. Hand-dyed merino rainbow. And this is a really fun colorway that I call, maybe. I'm not sure how to say the name. So I'll put the yarn info on the screen so you can see it. This is the skein, and then this is the cake. And I'm very excited to see how this knits up. I think it's really fun. And I'm using this to knit Tori U's Queen's cami for the friend that I'm visiting. And yeah, it's in this bag. So we can go on to sewing, but I think this will be a really fun distraction. I am knitting it. The Queen's cami is a multi-gauge project where it starts in a larger gauge and decreases in gauge as you go up and at the bottom up, which not my favorite, but I love my friend, and also I love Tori U, so we're gonna give it a go. So I am bringing a US 7 with me, and depending on how far I get, I'll just borrow my friend's needles, which is honestly the benefit of going to see friends who are also knitters, right? Always fun. Maybe I might even get to go to the yarn store while I'm there. I guess we'll have to see. But that is the Queen's cami that I am going to be knitting for my friend in the size medium. And then this little Betty is my sewing project. So this is a really simple, I just Googled sewing a drawstring bag tutorial for this, and I found a tutorial on YouTube. No, I found a blog tutorial. I wanted something that was written out so I didn't have to like constantly stop go on the videos. I got a blog tutorial and I will link it below, but this is some leftover yarn from a bag I've made for a friend before. My coffee bag and the big bag. This is for my shirt project. It's a drawstring. I would like to have a nicer drawstring, but this is what I had for now, and it will work. So that is very simple. I just basically all I did was cut two 16 by 12 pieces of the outer fabric and 16 by 12 of the satin lining, and then I did two 2 by 12 pieces of the drawstring. What is that called? Channel. There we go. So that is my big project bag, and then this is my small project bag, which is very similar, except it is a 6 by 12. So I cut two pieces of 6 by 12 fabric in this really fun cat print. A cat on a bookshelf. And I did the same lining, like a rose gold lining, also 6 by 12. And then I did for the drawstring channel, I just used a piece of bias binding from another project. So the bias binding purple. actually ended up making, I don't remember what I used this for. But yeah, so I have my bias binding, a pretty little bag with another very, very full drawstring for now. Yeah, so that is all I have for you today, and hopefully it's interesting. Oh no, there's one more sewing pattern. All right, this sewing pattern is very much my first time ever making this project, and I am probably gonna try again when I'm not in a hurry. But this was the Bestie bag. So I saw this on it's by Addie. No, it it's it's by AJ or AJ's podcast. So anyway, I saw this on Addie's podcast, and it is and I immediately bought the pattern because I thought it was a really cool pattern, and I got some plain powder blue canvas for it, and I made the outside with the canvas and the inside with again that like rose gold satin I have a ton of, and my can I show this? I don't know. My interior has two pockets on one side and then a big one on the other side. Oops, did that not? There it is. Here it is. This is the big one. Right. This is the best bag, and this is a really fun project. It's not as well made as I would prefer it to be. I definitely will be making it again in. I would do something different with the strap. Probably. I'm not thrilled with the way the strap looks. I'm kind of struggling with making it do what I wanted to do, and also some of my sewing is not as good as I would like either. But on the bright side, it is a lovely little like shoulder bag, and you can adjust it, and it's like really short or really long. The only negative is what you do with this, but I think this is a really good. This will be a very good travel bag, and it is very nice, like perfect for dog owner life, really. Yeah, that's all I have for you actually. So that's all for today. My name is Jennifer. This is my little middle of the year project roundup, so you can see what all I've got going, which is quite a lot. And I would like to hear what you were working on while I was talking to you today. But also love to hear, again, like I mentioned earlier, any experience you've had with flying with your knitting, but more specifically with flying with your sock knitting, because for some reason I don't know why I feel like socks might be more PSA like flagged or something, but who knows? That's just me. And yeah, I hope you had a good time here, and I hopefully see you again soon. Hopefully next month, right? All right. Bye.